Good morning. Happy Friday, August 21st. Today's my son's birthday. The big 19. 19 years ago today, I brought him into this world. Ooh, my life changed. Golly, I've been thinking a lot about that. Reminiscing when he was a baby. All the long nights. What I would give to go back to those days and what I would do differently. Night and day, but I wouldn't change anything, but golly. Ooh, I tell you what, I'd use my voice more. I mean, I've always been a pretty vocalizing person in different ways when it comes to advocating for my kid, but I always came out with a shorter end of the stick. Nothing came of it, but I advocated. But I would have beat the pavement harder. I would have taken it further. I would have kept going up and up and up. I would have went all the way to the committees, to the county, to the state level if I had to. Being who I am now, facing the things that I did with him that were not right, that were unjust in the schooling system, I would have beat the pavement. That's one thing I wish I could go back and do differently, for sure. But we live and learn. Everything played out the way that it was supposed to. And I don't question that by any means. I'm blessed for all of it. But I tell people all the time, advocate for your kids. Don't be a doormat. And don't expect them to be a doormat neither. That's what they want. That's what society wants. That's what this culture wants. Doormats. Seriously. Don't be one and don't raise one. And some little nuggets for you. And by the grace of God, in the last few years, I've been able to change that with my healing. He's not a doormat. He knows how to use his words. He does them wisely. He does it with morals and values, and he knows how to pick his battles, and he knows what battles are not worth his time. He knows that. And I'm very proud of him. Very proud of him. Proud of both of us and everything that we've been through. Something came to me and last night in my dreams. Been seeing a lot of videos in reference to my story. Sharing your story, people have questions. Yeah, I see that all the time. It's like people have questions, they can ask you. They don't ask, they really don't care. Now, if there are questions in the back, if it's gossip in the back, are they really questions? Or are they just working on changing the narrations, It's all, it's the way I see it. When it comes to my story, all the way back, years upon years, all the players involved, all the people involved, it's really hard for me to go down that rabbit hole because I have certain experiences, certain memories, certain conversations, certain eyes that I now see, and I see it so differently, and it makes me sick to my stomach, truthfully, to relive it and see the true unveiling of the whole entire circumstance, of the whole entire friendship, of the entire relationship when it comes to my marriage. It's absolutely nuts. It's hard for me. That's why I don't like talking about it. I forgive and I want to forget. I want to forget and leave that there. It's not, people know what they do. People know what they've done. People know what they're a part of. People know what they've been a part of. I don't need to tell them that. They already know those answers. They already know them. That's why when I see them out in public or in passing or energetically, the answer's right in front of my face. Literally, it's staring right back at me. They can't look at me. They don't make sense of what they're saying. They're all over the place. It's awkward. And it's sad. It's very sad. And it's too hard for me. I don't like it. It's hard enough to recognize that I lived through it. But there's people in this world that jump on bandwagons to steal, to siphon, to keep somebody at a low state of mind, to hurt somebody intentionally, to understand that there's people in this world that do that intentionally, whether they're paid or they're coerced or they're blackmailed or they're told compelling stories, but they don't do their legwork, they don't do their own investigation, they don't understand their rights. They're like, oh, okay, sure. Why not? It's sad. It's absolutely sad. I can't even fathom having a conversation like that with somebody. If somebody came to me and was like, hey, this is going on about so-and-so. We're a part of so-and-so, and you have to do this. And if you do this, we'll give you this. Or if you don't do this, we'll tell this about you. But you're going to have to go into this world and you're going to have to do this. And it's going to consist of treating people not fair, not treating people honorably, being mean, using your eyes, weird gestures, being chaotic on the road, creating illusions and tactics, creating madness in their world, hurting them because you know it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them because you know who they are. You know the interactions you had with them. You know they've always been genuine to you. So obviously you know it's going to hurt them when you're pretending to be something and keeping them on a vicious cycle, because in the conversation you're having with them, it's manipulating and it's filled with gaslighting. So you have these conversations with these people and all of this is transpiring, right? And it's like, I'm just trying to wrap my hand around people in that mere moment. Because if I was in those shoes, I feel strongly. I can't say that I would, because I've never been in those shoes, but I'd like to think that if I was in those shoes, I'd be like, no, do what you're going to do. Say what you're going to say. Take me to court. Make it make sense in court. Why you're asking me to do these things in the dark, not legally. Make it make sense in the court. Due process. Why hasn't this person been brought into court? Instead, you're doing all this stuff in the back. Make that make sense. But nobody. No one. So yeah, it's hard. I don't like talking about it. Not by any means. Yesterday, a thought came into my mind when I resigned. It's so funny. Like I've been knowing that there is a very strong narration and smear campaign and humiliation ritual that transpired after I resigned. But what people seem to not understand is that it was happening before I resigned. It was happening before I resigned because I started picking up on it while I still was employed for about 6 months prior. Okay. So riddle me this. That led me to part of the reason why I did resign, not to mention everything else going into it and that I was dealing with that wasn't making one bit of sense. Not freaking one. Things nobody should go through when they're in the employment world, period. No one. That said, I knew that. I've known that. For October, next month, it'll be, 4 years now? Yeah. No, I'm sorry, 2023, 3 years. 3 years. I've been at this for 3 years. I've been on the social media for 2. And so when I started picking up on that, I started recognizing it, and none of it was making sense to me. Not one. But then the players in my life, my family, my friends, the jobs that I was working at, trying to just make ends meet, because I've been crawling through a HELL since. All of it was the same thing in different ways. All of it was to keep me in a negative headspace, peculiar conversations, peculiar actions, peculiar illusions with me,